The creation of neural networks for object segmentation and classification can be separated into three phases. First, data preparation phase, including manual or threshold-based labeling of ground truth data. Second, training phase of the deep learning neural network to adjust the internal weights and biases. Third, inference phase, meaning the application and evaluation of the neural network on new unknown input data. This video covers the first phase. I will show you how you can easily label images yourself in order to generate the ground truth input for a successful neural network training using the deep learning solution in our imaging software PRECiV. You can find this solution in the vertical navigation bar under Processing. On the Neural Network tab, you can click Create Training Labels to open the Training Labels tool window, even if the deep learning solution was not purchased. First, we have to create new label classes by clicking the button with the little star icon, even if you eventually see already the last used label classes, but they are grayed out and inactive. Clicking the star button initializes the simplest classification scheme: one background class or background layer, and one object class on the first level of the object layer. You can add more object classes by clicking the little star button again, as we will shortly see. The maximum number of classes currently is 15, which means your neural network would be able to detect 15 different types of objects and classify them correctly. So, let's begin labeling. From the bottom of the Training Labels tool window, you can choose various tools for labeling. You can find a Create Training Labels fill and a Create Training Labels contour brush. There is the magic wand as well as an eraser tool. A Select Training Labels and Delete Training Labels tool allow you to manipulate labeled objects once they have been created. By selecting the background layer and choosing the Create Training Labels Fill tool, we are ready to draw our first background label. We can select an appropriate brush size by using the pixel slider below. The first brush stroke created by dragging the mouse with the left button pressed reveals that the color of the background label is very similar to the real color of the image. So let's undo this, because we can easily change the color by clicking the color field and choosing a different one. Now you see why the tool we are using is called Create Training Labels Fill, because you can circumscribe an area with your mouse, which will be filled automatically. You can start to draw another background area object, and the number of areas or background objects that you have created is displayed in the count field. If you draw overlapping areas, they will truncate each other into mutually exclusive areas. The third area I tried to draw was truncated into two resulting areas by the already existing second area. That is why you can see 4 objects in the count field now. One of them is probably so small that we cannot see it at this zoom level. With the Select Training Labels tool, you can highlight the labeled background areas, and by clicking the Delete Training Labels button or by pressing Delete on your keyboard, you can get rid of unnecessary areas. We have seen now how to create or delete background labels, but you can also expand existing ones by starting to draw from within existing labels. This increases the labeled area, but the amount of areas doesn't change, meaning that the count stays constant. From traditional machine learning software, you might know that you have to put clearly separated labels into exclusive background and object areas to teach the software how to distinguish them, like in the example shown here. This is also a valid approach in the PRECiV deep learning solution, even though not the most efficient one. The second sentence in the short information text below the training label classes suggests a more efficient strategy. It says, object labels surrounded by background labels improve the results. This is because during the training phase, only image pixels which belong to either background or object classes will be used for the training. Unlabeled pixels will be ignored. Once your objects are completely surrounded by background, the neural network sees the pixels forming the transition between object and background. These pixels would be excluded from the training with our initial approach, and that's why I recommend to select the option Entire Image its Background, like it is shown here. As a consequence, you have to label every single object in your image, which can be a tedious task if you have hundreds or thousands of objects in the image like in this example. In that case, you can combine both approaches by returning to smaller background areas, but strictly label every single object in these areas. Remember, the network will use all labeled pixels for the training, and if you would miss objects in the background areas, the network will try to figure out a logic why some objects in these areas are positive while others are not, and this will lead to unreliable outcomes and a lot of confusion. Okay, let's see what happens if we select entire image's background. All the existing background labels will be removed, and now we can continue with the labeling of objects. I'm changing the color of class 1 to green because I have already prepared some more images with a certain training label classification, and I want to make sure that they are all labeled in the same way, as this is an important prerequisite for the network training phase. We can use the Create Training Labels Fill tool again and draw around this big circle. And again, the area is directly completely filled. If we do the same on this ring-shaped object, it will fill the central hole. Let's undo this and switch to the Create Training Labels Contour tool. With this tool and a correctly adjusted pixel size, you can follow the contour of the ring and the central part is left out, just as we need it. Drawing with the mouse is often difficult and not very precise. You can use the eraser tool with an appropriate pixel size to delete wrong labels. But while I delete some wrong object labels, it's time for a remark. Instead of being extremely precise while labeling only a few objects, it's better to do it quick and dirty on more objects. Remember our entire image's background approach. The network sees all the transitions between objects and background, and your little inaccuracies will balance out statistically the more objects you label. A ballpark figure is 100 labeled objects per object class for a first training. This depends on the complexity of the task. The laser engraved objects on my metal sample have a very good contrast. That's why I can use another labeling tool called Magic Wand. With this tool, I don't have to worry about the low accuracy of mouse-drawn object labels. Let's first delete my crude attempts by activating the Select Training Labels tool, dragging with the mouse over the objects, and clicking the Delete Training Labels button. The Magic Wand selects pixels with similar color, saturation, and/or intensity thresholds. The threshold similarity can be adjusted. You can choose fine, medium, or coarse for higher to lower similarity. I use the default medium level here. And when you hover your mouse pointer over an object, PRECiV gives you a preview of the labeled area. And once you click, the label is applied. In this way, I can quickly select all the circles now. On the very homogeneously colored objects, the Magic Wand properties do not make a big difference. But on the background, with its metallic surface texture, you see a big difference. Especially the coarse setting selects almost the whole background, while with fine you get only tiny areas. Now that I have labeled all circles, I can introduce the obvious idea of object classification. I can rename the current class 1 to Circle and create a second one called Donuts for our ring shapes here. I select the Magic Wand tool again, accepting the limitation that holes will be filled, because with the eraser tool and the correct pixel value, I can quickly delete the label in the central hole of the ring. A click on the pixel slider activates it, and now I can use the up and down arrows of my keyboard to adjust the brush size while the mouse hovers over the structure. With this trick, I can quickly erase circular shapes with very little effort. I continue now with squares. I generate a third object class, rename it, and choose a color. With this object, I have a little problem. A square is touching a rectangle, and the Magic Wand tool is labeling them as one object. I will fix this in a second with the eraser tool and small brush size. The objects are separated and I can quickly generate a new class for rectangles. I label all rectangles like the other objects before. Beware with the falsely labeled rectangle. If I would click it, I would get the square connected again. Instead, I choose the Select Training Labels tool, select the rectangle with the right mouse click, and now I can change the training label class of this object from square to rectangle. Oh, I missed one square. Let's fix this. Finally, I create one last training label class for triangles. I mentioned before that the whole classification scheme that I created here should be similar to one which I already used on some other images. That's why I select the triangle class and move it up by one position in the list. Now I'm sure that everything corresponds and I can save this scheme. Of course, I already did this when preparing my samples for this video, so I will just override the existing scheme. Under Manage Training Label classes, you can access all schemes that you might have already created. Here you can make them accessible to PRECiV users on different Windows accounts, or you could export or import them between different computers. I mentioned earlier that we have to label around 100 objects per class for a reliable neural network. On the current image, we have 2 to 11 objects per class. This means we need more images. Normally, these images would have to come from different samples or at least different field of views. This sample here was chosen to demonstrate labeling, and the only way to introduce at least a little bit of sample variation is by acquiring it with different contrast techniques, focus conditions, or exposure times. This is what I did, but remember, for a real neural network training, this would not be enough. I open a second image and now I can apply my training label classification scheme by selecting last used. Or if I do not want to apply the last used one, I could open another scheme from the list below. I have to label the second image now, and then I have to repeat it for as many images as are required to reach the recommended number of objects per class. I have only 5 images in total, but I'm confident that the structures I want to segment and classify are simple enough to train a rough neural network. Here you can see the 5 images. They differ at least in color, brightness, and contrast. The next step would be to start the training phase either by clicking Train Neural Network or Interactive Training. Both methods will be shown in a separate video. So far, we have dealt extensively with manual labeling, but there are also semi-automatic ways to create training labels. This either involves using color and/or intensity thresholds, or the use of an already existing neural network. I start with threshold-based object detection in 2D measurement on the optional Count and Measure Solution tab. The details of Count and Measure will be explained in a separate video. The objects detected in this way can then be easily imported into the Training Label tool window. Provided the image contrast allows it, this is of course an elegant and fast way to create a huge number of training labels in one run, and the more training data there is, the more reliable the final neural network will be. If you click the twisty triangle next to the Import Detected Objects button, you can choose the second option called Import from Neural Network. This option is useful if you already have a functional but preliminary neural network that you want to refine, and that is why you have to generate more labeled training data. To conclude the labeling topic, I would like to mention 2 additional options in the list of training label classes: the individual objects checkmark and the change level option, accessible via right-click on an existing label class. The individual objects checkmark influences the type of probability map calculated by the network. This probability map is binary in case of individual objects being selected. A pixel is either background, meaning it has 0% probability to be an object, or it is an object with 100% probability. Pixels between two neighboring objects can only belong to one or the other. There is no gradual transition between objects, like in the probability map, which is calculated if you deselect individual objects. In the videos on neural network training and neural network application, I will come back to this topic. For applications in which objects overlap, we can assign these to different levels. As a result, a separate probability map is calculated for each level, with the consequence that an image pixel has both a probability of belonging to object A in layer 1 and a probability of belonging to object B in layer 2. The maximum number of levels is related to the maximum number of object label classes, so 15, as we already heard earlier.